Alright everybody, Stephen Howson here, and I was planning on doing a Watford preview, and I might still do a little bit of a Watford preview, but I've just done one for Full-Time Devils, so I think there's no point covering the same ground that I cover in that video. I may as well just do a bit of a conversation, I guess, with what I think the next week's going to hold for Manchester United. We've got a pretty important week, haven't we? We've got Watford coming up tomorrow night. Hopefully we'll get this out in time for it still to be tomorrow night and not tonight. I think the confidence around the club is still absolutely shattered because we're looking at Watford and we're going, we're not going to do them. We're going to get beat, or we're going to draw, or we're just not going to do the job that we need to do. We're not going to win 4 games on the bounce, are we? You're mad. That shows how bad December was. Because going into that, do you know what? We was well in there in contention for everything. We was beating decent teams. The football wasn't great, but we was pulling results out. And then December came, and everything just fell to pieces, didn't it? And Watford at home on a Wednesday night after 3 wins, that should be an absolute tapping, shouldn't it? The news that we didn't have on the preview that I did for Full-Time Devils, which was Martial and Smalling, and hang on, I think someone else might have been back in. Damian may also be fit as well. We didn't have that news when we did the preview record for Full-Time Devils, so that probably changes everything, or a lot at least, because I think Smalling comes straight back into the team. I'd like to think Herrera and Schneiderlin are allowed to continue, but I think Lou Van Gaal's probably going to reward Carrick as being captain for the last couple of days and doing decent with another start, and I'm not sure that's the best idea. I want to see this partnership, if you can call it that, between Herrera and Schneiderlin given a bit more time to flourish and bed in and see what they can do together, because I think they could be a really good central midfield partnership. It probably means that, well, I mean, Chris Smalling back's massive, isn't it? I mean, I almost don't want to rock the apple cart too much, because I think some of the people that have come in have done a fantastic job, especially Marcus Rashford. But if Martial's fit, then the sensible thing is, listen kid, you've done well, you've 4 goals in 2 games, awesome. Let's sit you on the bench, we'll give you half an hour. Martial starts. Now there's every chance with a hamstring injury, Martial could go down again in the warm-up, and we don't want that. And I would rather, if there's any doubt whatsoever with Martial, just bench him. What is the point in risking him and ruining his career so early? We've seen what happens with players that are that fast. Whoa, earthquake. We've seen what happened with players that are super quick, like Michael Owen. Once you start getting hamstring injuries, if they're not allowed the proper treatment and they're not allowed to heal correctly, then they're going to plague you for your entire career. And I mean, the guy's so young. Let's not wreck him so far. So if there's any doubt whatsoever, there's no doubt, and he doesn't play. And I would be more than happy to see Rashford lead the line again and see if he can replicate what he's done in the last 2 games. Chances are he can't, but what if he can? That's why we go to football, isn't it? It's the hope, and it's the hope that kills us mostly. Memphis has got to play. He's going to be... While there's no pressure on him at the moment from someone looking over his shoulder that he might drop him, he's got to play. Now he might move Memphis to the right, or he might move Martial to the right, because he likes to put Martial on the right, doesn't he? He's played him there a couple of times to accommodate others. What if he just give Lingard a rest, because he's played a lot of football recently? What if he said to Lingard, how about take a seat, mate? We're going to play Martial on the right, Memphis on the left, and Rashford down the middle, just to see how it goes. That'd be interesting, I think. And it caused Watford some problems, because now who are you going to mark against those 3? I think Lingard can be marked out of a game. I think he's an excellent squad player, but if you was picking your ideal Manchester United side, I don't think he's going to be in it. As much as I like him and I love having local lads in the side, I think I would like to see someone with a bit more potential and a bit more quality in there. Maybe Rashford it has peaked already. Maybe that's all he was ever going to do in the game. But you know what? While he's on a hot streak, strikers go through these. You've got to keep playing him, haven't you, for me? So maybe there's a way to fit him into the side. Obviously, we've got West Brom at the weekend as well, so he does have to think about rotation a little bit still. We have played a lot of football in the last couple of weeks, so there might be some tired legs out there. I did want to see Pereira, but he got 90 minutes last night, so there's absolutely zero chance of that. But if we get a win tomorrow night, we've got... Let me just pull the fixtures up here. because City are playing Liverpool. I saw Arsenal was playing as well, but I can't remember who they're playing. It looks like a full calendar tomorrow. Oh, there's some results here for tonight, actually. I've not even watched a minute of any of these games. We have got Tottenham away to West Ham. That'll be a cracking game, won't it? Liverpool and City, potentially a decent game. Stoke, Newcastle. Arsenal at home to Swansea. Swansea's, it's 3 points from that at the moment, isn't it? But we might see this that we're talking about with Arsenal all the time, where they just... Do you know what is wrong with that Arsenal side? Because you think on paper they should have fucking blitzed us on Sunday, shouldn't they? But we said in the live in the preview beforehand, the way to beat Arsenal is to soak up this pressure, like teams have done to us a little bit this season. Soak up the pressure and then hit them on the counter using the pace of the lads that we've got. And we did that, and we crossed from deep and we crossed from wide and we hit them on the counter, and we was very clinical. They had twice the amount of shots we did. They had almost twice the amount of possession that we did. And we beat them, and we looked great doing it as well. So it doesn't feel like we was under so much pressure, but we was. And there was elements of us holding on at times. Now, that's always been Arsenal's problem, isn't it? That they can play beautiful football and they can absolutely crucify you in a minute, like we saw at the Emirates. They blitzed us. We had no hope against them whatsoever at the Emirates. 20 minutes and it was gone. They literally took the rest of the game off. And we actually ended up statistically dominating that game because we dominated it for so long. 70 minutes or 65 minutes I think we dominated the game for, statistically. It was just those first 20 minutes absolutely crucified us, but the job was done. So Arsenal probably just sat back and was like, yeah, your turn, attack us. I don't know how you fix that with Arsenal, and that is the frustration that you see with Arsenal fans. And it's understandable because for years... it's the same thing. They have beautiful footballers, technical footballers, talented footballers, but they have got nobody that'll fucking lift somebody. If they had a Vieira, if they had a Roy Keane, even if they had a fucking Joey Barton, for Christ's sake, someone who was just gonna put through someone. Like, I don't know of many real enforcers in the game at the moment, but I tell you what, Arsenal could really do one, couldn't they? There is still a massive physical side to the game, and it's as much physical in terms of like not going in fouling people, but it's physical in terms of how aggressive you are. Look at Marcus Rashford, the way he generally plays his football. He can G us up. Even Riley. There's certain players who've just got an absolute tempo about them. Tevez, they don't know when to quit, and Arsenal do know when to quit, and they quit often. When the going gets tough for them, they fold. Now, last season, when they was out of the title race, they kicked it up, didn't they? And they was swatting teams aside, left, right and centre. And I think if you look at like the last 12-month block from when they was out of the title race to now when they're just coming into a title race, they've absolutely killed it. If the season ran from then, they would have been far and away champions, I think. But when there was no pressure on was when they kicked in last year. When the title was already gone. So there was no need for them to worry about potentially going and winning something. This season, the pressure's just started to get to them. And it's fucking Leicester and Spurs, their arch enemy. If you can't get up for fucking Spurs, you're never going to get up for it, are you? It was Arsenal's for the taking this year. It was City's for the taking. City spent an absolute fucking fortune in the summer on what was already a very complete squad. And where are they? They're potentially going to come 5th this year. After all the shit we've taken, after all the shit we've been given, City potentially going to come underneath us. Now they're 3 points off us. If they don't get a victory tomorrow, and I reckon it's going to be a draw there at Anfield tomorrow, so there's still going to be 4 points. It's not going to be 4 points, is it? It'll be down to 1 point, I think, by then. Is it? Yeah, 1 point, but they'll still have the game in hand. Yeah, so it can potentially be 4 points, but it can be down to as little as 1 point. By the time we play them, we'll be able to overtake them, in theory, as long as we maintain wins. Now, West Brom's going to be a difficult place for us to go, and for some reason, everyone's got it in their head that Watford's going to be a hard one for us tomorrow. But I think we can do it. I think we can get 6 points from the next 6 games, and the landscape's going to look a little bit different. I'm not sure who. Let's have a look. Week 29. City will be at home, and I can't find it. Who have they got? Aston Villa at home. I'll ask 3 points for a minute. All right, maybe week 30. Norwich away, that's 3 points from as well, innit? No, actually, do you know what? That might be the sort of place that they go to and stumble. They might not get beat, but that's the sort of place that City, when they're not on their game, can go and get a draw, isn't it? So maybe there's hope. But we just have to keep concentrating on ourselves. If we beat them, I think they'll have already dropped enough points that we overtake them by the time that we play them. So that's all I'm focusing on. But if we don't get 6 points from the next 6 games, forget it. And I'm not going to touch back on Arsenal because it's all been said, hasn't it? They just don't have that. Just don't have that mentality, that winning mentality, that win at all cost mentality. They just. I can understand why some of the fans look like they're absolute nutcases, because I think it would drive you to go insane with how frustrating it must be when you look at the team and you're like, it almost looks like they can't be bothered to win it at times. I hope Leicester go on and do it. I really do. It looks like they got a draw tonight against West Brom. Everton have beat Villa. Palace and Sunderland have both drawn. Bournemouth beat Southampton. Norwich have been beaten by Chelsea. So that's tonight's fixtures, which you're probably well aware of by the time this comes out. So where does that leave the league table? Let's just have a quick look while you're all on here. So that leaves Leicester 2 points ahead of Tottenham on the same games played. Arsenal 5 points off them. City 4 points off those, and us 3 points off City. It's so close. City got that game in hand. Everyone else has played 27, so 11 games to go. If City don't win their game in hand, then it's going to get extremely interesting, I think. I still believe top 4's possible. And so's all the cups. I mean, when it comes to the big teams, we have got the best record. There's no like spinning it however you want. We have actually got the best record out of all the top teams in the little top 6 mini league. It's the bottom of the league, the teams that don't want to come and play football against us, that we've struggled to break down, which is exactly what we might face tomorrow, and is what we might face against West Brom. That's where we're in for a problem. So I don't know, where can we see ourselves finishing? I don't know. I mean, West Ham are right on our tails, 1 point off us. This doesn't look like an up-to-date table to me. No, I don't think it is an up-to-date table. Let's check Sky. Wow, there's about 1 million clicks to get to the Premier League table on Sky. Where is it? Table. You don't think it'd be hard to find, would you? Table. I don't think it's been updated. No, it's been updated at 4 o'clock. It's not been updated yet. The one I normally check, which is live, is on my phone. Which I'm recording this on. So I can't check. So at the moment, Leicester's going to be 1 point further ahead, aren't they? So that's 3 points between them. Have West Ham overtaken us? Oh no, they play tomorrow. Tottenham tomorrow. So someone's going to lose ground there tomorrow, aren't they? That's it really, isn't it? Form-wise, Tottenham are smashing it. City's form's as bad as ours. Which no one's talking about. Van Gaal's absolutely right to be starting pointing fingers at the press. I don't know. I've petered out here big time, haven't I? There's a footy manager tactic going out in the morning. If you're into that sort of thing, check that out. There'll be loads of content from Full Time Devils out tomorrow. Obviously with the game, there'll be some pre-stuff. And then obviously Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all that sort of shit throughout the game. The fan cams afterwards. I'm on BBC at 12 outside Old Trafford on BBC World. Not sure what that goes out on. If it's radio or if it's TV. I think it's TV. I don't know where it goes. So if that's in your territory, then check that out for us and let us know how it goes. That's about it really, innit, for tonight. A little bit of a Watford preview, sort of. And how I think the season's going to shape up from everybody else. This is why we love it, innit? Because it's so unpredictable. No one would have predicted Marcus Rashford coming on doing what he's done. So if he can do that, then I'm open to every other possibility in the book. Who do we think's going down? That's an interesting one, isn't it? Villa, definitely, if not already down. Sunderland and Newcastle look dodgy. Norwich are right in the mix there. Swansea as well. Bournemouth have sort of tapered off since they had some really early stuff, didn't they? So it's chaos. I tell you what is interesting though is the guy that's just bought Everton. What's traditionally been for the last 10 or so years a really strong top four is about to become a strong top six this season. You would expect. I mean, West Ham are knocking on the door. If they get some decent players in and stuff pre this Olympic Stadium sort of thing, that could be a game changer. You would expect Liverpool and Chelsea to be back in the mix at some point next season. So the top four, if Everton have gone and have got some big investment as well, could very quickly become a top 8. That's why the Premier League is the most competitive league, because it's hard to get something out of the top 2, or even for in France, you're the top 1, where it's competitive. So to maintain standing in this league and be competitive in Europe is a hell of an achievement. And I do think that we as a league can get back to what you could really call the glory days. I think from 2005 we had Liverpool in the Champions League final, 2006 Arsenal, 2007 Liverpool again, 2008 and 9 was us and Chelsea obviously in 2008. 2010 I think Chelsea was in the final. 2000 I think it was in the final. 2011 was obviously ourselves again. 2012 Chelsea. So we had a real purple patch, didn't we, as a league, where we was represented high in the latter stages of the Champions League and the final. And I think although we're not that at the moment, I think all of the big clubs in England are just going through a little bit of a transition. Arsenal, I don't know what's going on with those. City have never really done it in the Champions League. Maybe this is their year to go and actually do something, but I think the league form will suffer if it does, and it'd be funny if they end up getting knocked out in the semi-finals, going as far as they've ever gone. And I find it funny how their fans pretend not to care about the Champions League because they've never done anything in it, and they see European competition as a United thing, I think. Chelsea obviously have just fell to pieces. Liverpool are all over the show at the moment. United, we're in the Europa League at the moment, so it's it'll come back round, I think. We'll be there or thereabouts over the next couple of years, I am sure. I said I've waffled on far too long for tonight. I'll see you all tomorrow for all sorts of shit. Thanks for watching. Drop us a like, drop us a comment. Talk about anything you want. Talk about anything and I'll reply, chatting loads of shit like I normally do. So thank you for watching. Drop us a comment, drop us a like. Hit me a subscribe up if you don't mind, and I'll see you soon.